I'd like to welcome everybody again to our 29th Annual Division of Fire Awards Ceremony. My name is Jim Kennel. I'm Assistant Chief of Emergency Services. I'd like to introduce now Fire Chief Kevin O'Connor to come up and give some remarks, and then he'll remain on stage, and we'll start giving out these awards.
Good evening. I want to start by going over what the point of the Columbus Division of Fire is. What I mean by what the point is, what our mission is. The mission of the Columbus Division of Fire is to serve our community by preventing emergencies through education and inspection, minimizing injury, death, and property destruction due to fire, natural disasters, and other emergencies, minimizing injury, death, and suffering by providing timely and effective emergency medical services. In order to accomplish our mission, we, the members of the Columbus Division of Fire, use the following values to guide our actions: preservation of life and property, safety, personal integrity, professionalism, and respect for others. Every officer that's been promoted over the last 3 years, I have a conversation with, and I ask them about what this mission is and what the values are. This is the golden rule for what the Division of Fire is. It's what we do when we're not sure what else to do. It's what every rule is based upon. But what we're here for tonight is to recognize those individuals who not only accepted this mission, but demonstrated it and its values at its highest levels. The women and men represented the best of what Columbus Division of Fire is and have set examples on what it should become. I have the privilege to serve as the fire chief of the best fire department in the nation, the Columbus Division of Fire. A few years back, we were challenged to answer, how do you know that? How do you know that you're the best fire department in the nation? Well, the reality is we measure it, we watch it, and we maintain it. We have professional athletes that retire and want to become Columbus firefighters. We have police officers that want to become Columbus firefighters. We have teachers and school teachers and principals and all other aspects of employment look to what being a firefighter is. Because if you remember, that's what drove us when we were a little kid. It's what drove many of these members here tonight to why they're on the Columbus Division of Fire. What you see here tonight is a small representation of the 1,548 uniformed members of the Division of Fire and 49 civilian employees. Not only did these individuals do their jobs, more importantly, but fulfilling that calling each and every day, every hour, every minute. Their actions saved lives, decreased suffering, and offered aid. It made what could have been the worst day in someone's life much better. They do this as a calling and because it is the right thing to do. They did not care about what race or creed, what income level or nationality the individual was. They did it because someone called them in their hour of need and they stepped up. I honor every one of you that I see out here tonight. You represent 1,548 individuals who every day come to work and say, we're willing to do that, because that's what the Division of Fire really is. It's an organization that says on any given day, we're willing to step in front of somebody else on their worst day. The honor of these individuals, you've set the bar very high. You've provided an example and, more importantly, a legacy of how being your best and putting others above oneself is more rewarding. These individuals acted as a team. They not only accepted this mission, but then demonstrated it at a high level. The stories you will hear tonight are amazing. They will make you think, and they will make you understand why we have the best fire department in the nation. Day after day, they willingly prepared for and put themselves in harm's way. That professionalism, dedication, and commitment to making a difference in someone's life is truly inspiring. This is the evening to reflect on that, to see the differences that they have made in the lives of the citizens. One of the hardest things a member of the organization does is accept a thank you. We have different organizations that want to reach out to the Division of Fire to honor us, and many times the members, in very humbling respect, say thanks but no thanks. It's because that's what the job they do. Tonight, we want to say we recognize you. You've been recognized by your peers as setting that example and being the best of the best. What you'll hear tonight are stories of members of the division, members of the public, stories of police officers who were only doing their job. At least that's what they'll tell you. But the reality is they were doing more than that. They were being human. They were being a dad, they were being a mom, a grandmother, a neighbor, a friend. Yet as outsiders looked on, they saw them as firefighters. I can tell you, every one of you out here tonight did more than that. You put others above yourself. You stepped into a situation and in a level that was not expected or required of you. You saw a need and had the ability at that very moment to do something that you, if it had not done, would have caused no fault or blame to be brought on you or the organization. But instead, you said, I need to act. You put that interest of someone else above you. Your actions saved lives, decreased suffering, and offered aid that resulted in many positive outcomes. The purpose of this program is to publicly and officially recognize you for those actions. We are giving many awards tonight to individuals whose actions made the division better, the citizens of Columbus safer, and did it in a manner that was exemplary. They include the Citizens Distinguished Service Award, the Public Safety Award of Excellence, the Fire and EMS Award of Merit, the Fire Service Distinguished Service Awards, the Fire Chiefs Awards, and the Civilian of the Year Award. And finally, with the highest honors, the Silver and Bronze Maltese. These last two awards are given to active members of the division who, acting in the highest traditions of the Division of Fire, bring distinction upon themselves and the division by exhibiting extraordinary bravery or courage in the performance of their acts or duties, the level of which exceeded that normally required or expected of them. The actions they performed required dedication and commitment at a level that can be described as outstanding and deserving of recognition. In today's climate, the term hero is attributed to a lot of individuals. Even in tonight's awards, we need to distinguish between outstanding performance and a hero. To me, a hero is not just a person who is revered and admired, but rather is a person who goes above and beyond by pairing those attributes with courage and in a climate of imminent danger. Courage is defined as the mental or moral strength, not only to face difficult danger and pain, but also to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty while attempting to accomplish a virtuous act. This is an individual who made a conscious decision to be better than the situation they were in and to make it safer. So tonight, we reserve those highest honors to these firefighters who will receive the Silver and Maltese Awards. These individuals acted as a team, they acted with others, and they represented the example of what being a Columbus Division of Fire firefighter, EMT, and paramedic is, and what it should be every day. Not only did these actions require dedication and commitment, but these actions had to occur in a state of courage in the face of real danger, not perceived danger, but imminent danger. They still said, I need to act, and they did it for the benefit of someone other than themselves. All of those honored tonight have given Columbus a very special gift. That gift is their willingness and unselfishness to go above and beyond the expected and to put others above themselves. For that, on behalf of the over 1,600 men, women, and civilians of the Columbus Division of Fire, I tell you thank you and you're honored. You face danger on a daily basis because you put us above yourselves. Thank you. So how do I know we're the best? In reality, it's because 147 examples sit out here tonight to represent the 1,558 uniformed members who stand ready, willing, and able to act in a manner that requires the best. And that's the Columbus Division of Fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I'd now like to introduce Maureen Cassatt from 10 TV, our emcee for tonight, and would Assistant Director Kathy Collins please join us up here on stage.
So I am going to go off script real quick and say, It's very humbling, and it is a privilege for me to be here tonight. Many of the scenarios I responded to that are being held up tonight is an example of firefighters going above and beyond. And I think most of the first responders in this room know that I am a strong advocate for the blue line, but I am smarter than I look, and I did marry a firefighter, so, right? So before we launch into the program, I am going to ask everyone in here to raise a glass to their spouse, their significant other, their kids, mom and dad, all those people who are holding down the fort and holding up the ceiling during that 24-48 and supporting you and letting you know that it's okay to save everybody else because they're home taking care of yours. So here's to all of you supporters. Okay, so let's get started. As someone who's on the street, to know that many of you are being honored tonight, I see the noble acts that happen on the street all the time, the random acts of kindness, the acts of heroism, the acts of courage, the acts of bravery. So those of you who are being singled out tonight truly went above and beyond. And the purpose of the awards program is to publicly recognize the members of the Division of Fire and the citizens of the community. We have citizens here tonight, regular people like you and me, who have distinguished themselves through acts of heroism and/or exceptional community service above what is normally expected or required. And like I said, that bar is already very high. I would like to thank the Columbus firefighters for voluntarily contributing to the funding. It is all the firefighters that make this night possible. They make this banquet and the awards program possible, and without their support, we would not be here tonight to honor those members of the Division of Fire and those citizens who are deserving of these awards. So a big thanks to the firefighters for supporting this and recognizing that this is important. It's important for everyone to get together and have a night to celebrate each other. So we're going to begin this evening's program by recognizing those members of the community who are being presented with the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Award for Bravery, and I recognized them when I saw them tonight. This is awarded to the citizens who distinguish themselves by performing heroic acts involving hazard to life or great personal danger while saving or attempting to save a life. So when your name is announced, we're going to ask that you come forward. We need you to come up here on the stage to receive your award as I read your story. And when we say people putting themselves in harm's way, we're going to share some images with you, and I think that you're really going to get a grasp of what happened on this day. So citizens Mark Anthony II, Lizelle Horton, and Sterling Johnson. I saw you earlier. Yeah, there you are. Come on up here. Good to see you again. During the early morning of June 22nd, 2018, a construction crew was driving through the neighborhood of North 20th Street when they heard an explosion. One of the crew's family members lived in the neighborhood, so they drove to the site to see if anyone needed help. They were first on the scene to see a house that totally exploded. There was nothing but debris spread for miles. First on the scene, Columbus police officer Gary Orahood was on patrol in the area. He heard the explosion. He notified Zone 5 by radio. He was responding. Upon arrival, he began to try to remove the debris that had buried an unknown individual who had been in the house before it exploded. The three-man construction crew arrived just in time to help Officer Orahood remove the debris from on top of the injured individual, not knowing that they could have been at risk with an active gas leak. Police officers Joseph Berkey, Thomas Hunter, Rachel Martin, and Robert Reffett all simultaneously arrived on scene. Without hesitation or care for their own safety, they immediately ran towards the scene. Now, while officers Berkey and Orahood worked with citizens Mark Anthony, Lizelle Horton, and Sterling Johnson to free that injured individual, officers Thomas Hunter and Rachel Martin used their cruiser's fire extinguishers to suppress the fire that was burning from a ruptured gas line just a few feet away from those removing the debris. Now, I can tell you, I was there that day, and many times I've questioned, had I been there first, what would I have done? Their courage is remarkable. Lizelle Horton and Sterling Johnson carried that injured person down the street to where Columbus medics arrived. Officers Thomas Hunter, Rachel Martin, Gary Orahood, and Robert Reffett began to clear the debris field, making sure everyone stayed back due to the fire that was still burning when another individual's head popped up out of the debris. Columbus fire medics rushed over to retrieve the individual while the fire was still burning and the ruptured gas lines were still active while the police officers cleared the field. The heroic efforts of citizens Mark Anthony II, Lizelle Horton, and Sterling Johnson are to be commended, and they hereby are awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Citizens Award for Bravery. Included in this presentation is the Columbus Division of Fire Public Safety Award of Excellence. It's an award created for those members of public safety, police, fire, EMS, civilian dispatchers, who are not members of the Division of Fire, but who performed in an exceptional manner during either an emergency or non-emergency situation, making an impact on the lives of others. For his heroic actions that day, will Columbus Division of Police Officers Robert Reffert please come to the stage and accept this for the Columbus Division of Fire Public Safety Award of Excellence. Come on up here. And can we get a big round of applause for all these guys? Someone's lost. Stay close to me. Congratulations. Moving on to citizen Alberto Brito, Maria Ocho, and Tina Ruiz. On February 5th, 2018, at 08:52 hours, 3 unit companies were dispatched to a water response to 1921 Belcher Drive. The MDT message was that a small child went through the ice and was still in or under the water. The fire alarm office updated the run card several times with more information about other calls, verification that this would be a working run. That information alone was invaluable to our dive and rescue team as they planned their dive operation en route. This was a high-risk water response area with a dense population around several retention ponds with previous working water runs in the past. Now, prior to Engine 24's arrival, maintenance employee citizen Alberto Brito, who also lived at the location, rescued one female child out of the water by retrieving an air hose off of a compressor, and with the aid of another resident, Tino Ruiz, they took the child to an apartment where Maria Ocho wrapped her in blankets to keep her warm. None of them knew there was still another child in the water. Engine 24 arrived with Lieutenant Gary Cox Jr. and crew members. They found a CPD officer being pulled out after falling through the ice, attempting a go rescue. Ladder 24 arrived with Captain Rick Bianconi. I practiced that. Sorry, Rick. He was setting up command in the parking lot. It was quickly determined that a small boy was still in the water. I was here that day. This was truly a horrific and heartbreaking scene. They could physically see a small portion of a coat and his head barely above the water. Air was trapped in his coat. That was providing enough flotation to prevent him from sinking, and these responders did everything they could to save him. Lieutenant Cox was well aware that the victim was in a good place for rescue. He ensured nothing bumped that child. He was afraid that if anything happened, it could burp the trapped air in his coat and cause him to submerge. So the captain worked with the EMS 12, firefighter Daryl Jordan, and started feeding incoming companies information on the victim's status, the location. They were advising them of incoming companies that it would be a working incident. This incident became more stressful when the CPD officer became unconscious at the water's edge. Engine 24 and EMS 12, Daryl Jordan, requested an additional medic. That made a total of 3 medics. Rescue 16 firefighter Scott Benjamin exited the truck fully dressed in proper ice PPE personnel protection equipment. He was supported by firefighter Craig Minion and firefighter Scott Shepard. They did a quick go rescue of the child. The elapsed time of this ice rescue, 30 seconds. That's how quick this happened. At this point, there was an immersion-induced cardiac arrest. We had an unconscious CPD officer and another child suffering from hypothermia. Simply put, our companies certainly, without question, had their hands full. The dive and rescue team, DART 2, proceeded in, and it was decided they were going to do a quick search of the bottom under the ice hole. They had an all clear in 4 minutes, going down there, frigid water, making sure no other child was down there. Rescue 16 stayed suited up in ice PPE to support DART 2 in case of any other victims or diver emergencies. Clinton Township Medic 61, firefighters Alton Keller, James Sheehan, and Derek Shoops, and EMS 10 Captain Steve Corby performed advanced life support care on the child who was in the water, and they transported him to Nationwide Children's Hospital with firefighters Robert Slatzer and Joe Pineda from Engine and Ladder 24, respectfully. Medic 24 transported the CPD officer, and Medic 6 transported the sister who was suffering hypothermia. She was the first child pulled out of the water by the citizens. So citizen Alberto Brito is commended for his actions that day and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Award for Bravery, and citizens Maria Ocho and Tino Ruiz are hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Distinguished Service Award. So will the following please stay in your seats? I'm going to call your name for hereby being awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Service Award of Merit, but stand up and give us a wave, okay? Engine 24 Lieutenant Gary Cox, firefighters Jessica Barnhart and Robert Slatzer, Ladder 24 Captain Rick Bianconi, firefighters Timothy Barney, Timothy Liebhart, and Joe Pineda, Rescue 16 firefighters Scott Benjamin, Craig Minion, and Scott Shepard. And then will the following please stand for being awarded the EMS Award of Merit? Who's not standing up?
Back row. There you go.
He gets his own round of applause. Everyone look at him. There's no humble here tonight. EMS 10 Captain Stephen Corby, EMS 12 firefighter Daryl Jordan, Medic 6 firefighters Daniel Brins and Lamar Ruffin, and Medic 24 firefighters Stephen Blair and Michael Grauman. Will you please stand as well? So are my guys from Clinton Township here? Because I need Clinton Township Medic 61 firefighters Atan Keller, James Sheehan, and Derek Shoops. They're going to receive the Columbus Division of Fire Public Safety Award of Excellence Certificate and a plaque for their station. So we thank all of you for your heroic efforts that day. Our next award of the evening is the Citizens Distinguished Service Award. Now this award is given to citizens, this is other than members of the fire service, who have distinguished themselves by performing acts or duties in a manner deemed to be above that is normally required or expected and sufficient to set them apart from their peers. When I call your name, please make your way on up here to the stage. Citizen Stephanie Kirby, Richard Reed, J.D. and Melissa Smith, and Worthington Fire Department Lieutenant Matthew D. Harding. Come on up. During the morning of December 30th, 2017, Engine 10 and Medic 890 were dispatched to 667 Sullivan Avenue. This was to the Dodge Park Recreation Center. Upon arrival, they found a 68-year-old male patient under bystander care. The patient had been refereeing a wrestling match, and he collapsed. He was pulseless. Upon seeing this, several citizens jumped from the bleachers and ran down to help. OSU nurse Stephanie Harding and Worthington Fire Department Lieutenant Matt Harding were first to get to him with someone yelling to get an AED while starting compressions. J.D. Smith, whose son was on the team, ran to get the AED while his wife Melissa counted breaths, and CPR continued by Stephanie, Matt, and Richard Reed. One shock from the AED was administered and CPR resumed. Within a short time, 2 minutes or so, the patient regained pulses, was breathing on his own, and he woke up. Citizens Stephanie Kirby, Richard Reed, and Melissa and J.D. Smith are commended for their actions. Tonight, they are hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Distinguished Service Award, and Lieutenant Matthew D. Harding is awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Public Safety Award of Excellence. Firefighters Bradley J. Hess and Peter G. Bolin will receive the EMS Award of Merit Certificate. Congratulations. Citizen Nick Hoover, where are you, Nick? He saved the day. At approximately 9:41 on September 1st, 2018, Nick Hoover was sitting on his front porch when he saw a flickering light in the front room of the house across the street. It wasn't normal, so Nick took it upon himself to go to the neighbor's house to investigate. He then witnessed an adult occupant deliberately lighting fires to materials that were piled in the dining room area, while her daughter was attempting to extinguish the fires with small containers of water from the kitchen sink. The fires were set to plastic containers, and bags were producing a lot of smoke and more fire than the daughter could possibly extinguish at that rate. Nick told her to get out. He called the fire department as he ran upstairs to get other children out of the house. He knew there were at least 6 grandchildren at the house and that they were upstairs breathing this thickening smoke. Nick was able to get 4 of the 6 children, 2 weren't home. He got those out, as well as the daughter, who was on the first floor, as Station 10 crews arrived on the scene. Because of Nick Hoover's selfless actions, the outcome of this unfortunate situation wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been had he not got there so quickly to get the kids out before suffering smoke inhalation injuries or worse. Citizen Nick Hoover is commended for his actions, and he is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Citizens Distinguished Service Award. Unfortunately, I guess he is unable to be here tonight, but he certainly deserves our applause. He answered the call, didn't he? Okay, Citizen Eric J. Truck. Come on up. Yep, thank you. On May 17th, 2018, City of Columbus Department of Public Utilities Water Service Technician 2, Eric Truck, was just going to his job, going to work along Leonard Avenue. He was the first to arrive at a motorcycle accident where the driver of the motorcycle suffered a complete right leg amputation just below the knee. For those of you who aren't first responders, it's difficult to imagine coming up on something like that and realizing you're the only one there to help. Eric stopped. He helped the patient, who was lying on his side, being supported by a bystander who seemed to know the patient. With an improvised tourniquet made from his own belt, he almost completely stopped the bleeding. Upon medic aid's arrival, it was replaced with 2 tourniquets, and the bleeding was completely controlled and the open wound covered and bandaged. Due to his selfless efforts that day and working under what can only be described as a very high-pressure situation, Citizen Eric J. Truck is commended for his actions, and tonight he is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations. Citizen Christian Wood. On June 27th, 2018, Christian Wood was driving home. He was turning into his apartment complex. He came upon a vehicle off the road into a pine tree. There was another person already on the scene trying to call 911. Due to a language barrier with the original caller, Christian was given the phone and he talked to the Columbus Fire dispatcher. The patient was unresponsive and in the driver's seat. Christian forced entry. He was advised to and instructed on how to check for a pulse. It was determined very quickly the patient was pulseless and in cardiac arrest. Christian was instructed to remove the patient from the vehicle and to start CPR. Rescue and Medic 11 arrived to find CPR in progress by Christian. The patient remained in arrest and was transported to the hospital. Citizen Christian Wood is commended for his actions, and tonight he is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here with us tonight. Continuing with the program, we do want to recognize those members of the Columbus Division of Fire who are tonight receiving the EMS Award of Merit and the Fire Service Award of Merit. Now, the EMS Award of Merit is presented to individuals, groups, or entire companies who, in the opinion of an EMS supervisor, but in collaboration with an assistant chief, deputy chief, or battalion chief, have exhibited care and consideration during an emergency medical situation beyond which the nominating chain of command feels is not normally expected of them. These are the guys who went above and beyond. This year, 26 members of the division will receive the EMS Award of Merit. The Fire Service Award of Merit is an award given to fire, rescue, or emergency medical companies, as well as other division groups or individuals who, in the opinion of an assistant chief, deputy chief, or battalion chief, have performed in that manner that is so beyond what's normally expected. Now, this past year, 105 individuals were recommended for this award for acts ranging from heroism at a fire scene to outstanding work on their units. So I'm going to ask that you wait till the end of your scenario. I'm going to walk everyone through what you did to earn this honor tonight, and then you can stand from your seats and be recognized after I read your scenario, okay? We'll begin with firefighter Michael J. Grauman from Engine 21 3 Unit. For outstanding emergency medical response off-duty on April 20th, 2018. Just arriving home at 2:28 in the morning from vacation, so he's in vacation mode, he received a pulse point alert at a nursing home less than a mile from his home. Immediately, without hesitation, jumps into his car. He was there in minutes, meeting an aide at the door. Stating he was a Columbus firefighter who lived in the neighborhood, he was led to a patient who was in cardiac arrest. He initiated CPR prior to the arrival of the medics, who then took over and transported the patient to the hospital. So tonight, firefighter Michael J. Grauman is hereby awarded the EMS Award of Merit. He is not able to be here tonight, but certainly he deserves a round of applause from all of us. And I know that nursing home was never so happy to see a firefighter in all their lives. Okay, firefighter Warren M. Spear, Engine 28 3 Unit, for outstanding emergency medical response off-duty, again off-duty, on April 28th, 2018. This was during the downtown Columbus Cap City Half Marathon. Spear was off-duty. He was running in the marathon when firefighter Spear saw a runner who collapsed while running. Now, a nurse was also running, immediately stopped, started giving compressions, so firefighter Spear stopped to assist with those compressions until the medics arrived. He continued to assist until medics loaded the patient into the truck to transport to the hospital. Firefighter Warren M. Spear is hereby awarded the EMS Award of Merit. Please stand in your seat to be recognized. So wait, did you finish the half marathon? Good job. Way to be a fighter. Okay, 3-unit firefighter William Roger Markham from the Fire Alarm Office. Now, this is for outstanding service that happened on August 31st, 2018 at 15:05 hours. This is from an incident involving multiple moving parts, including the activation of 2 med-flight helicopters. This occurred with the Fire Alarm Office. Emergency medical fire dispatcher Roger Markham absolutely answer that call. And for any of you who've ever been inside radio dispatch, it can be a chaotic place. My hat's off to all of the dispatchers, doing exactly what he was trained to do. His skill set and experience alerted him to take this incident to the next level. He knew this was a big deal, and he met it. His actions on this call exhibited a great example of his confidence, and it was a reassurance to the firefighters on the other end of that radio. You know, sometimes those dispatchers can be your lifeline. Firefighter Markham took a personal interest in the call, and his actions are prime example of how emergency medical dispatchers do make a difference in the outcome of an incident. Tonight, firefighter William Roger Markham is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Service Award of Merit. Please stand to be recognized. Firefighter Dennis J. Hammond. This is for outstanding service on May 9th, 2018, when bomb squad member firefighter Dennis Hammond was on his way to work on Interstate 71 when he saw that OSU Police K-9-4 was involved in a vehicle crash. He stopped to help. Columbus Police Officer Lehman had his hands full with his K-9 Lazar, who you can understand was pretty anxious about what had happened. So firefighter Hammond was able to take K-9 Lazar to a safe and secure location at Station 3, feed and water provided until later in the day when the K-9 was retrieved back by Officer Lehman. For those of you who've been on the street, those K-9s are those officers' partners. They love them with all their hearts. The tragedy involving Officer Joring in Westerville earlier this year certainly brought that home for all of us. So believe me when I tell you that was the most wonderful thing that firefighter could have done for that officer that day. So big round of applause for firefighter Dennis J. Hammond. He is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Service Award of Merit. Please stand to be recognized. Thank you. It's like having your kid in that car. Okay, 3-unit Engine 18, Lieutenant Stephen H. Robertson. Firefighters William R. Dye Brandon G. Locke and Robert Panetta, off-duty 1 Unit Battalion Chief David T. Burnswig, and fire investigators Frank. Never knew your name was Frank. Frank Mike DeFrancisco, I will call you Frank for the rest of our careers. This is for outstanding fire service during the early morning hours on August 23rd, 2018. And I can't believe this isn't going to be turned into a script. When I read this, I was amazed. Columbus fire members responded to a house fire. There were reports of people trapped at 865 East 13th Avenue. And anytime you hear that go out, it's go time. Firefighter investigator Mike DeFrancisco was a few blocks away investigating another fire when he noticed a large column of smoke a short distance from his location. He immediately responded. He was the first to arrive, and he found a working fire in a 1 1/2 story Cape Cod. Now, as he's walking up to this house, first one there, he sees a child. Child's in a nightshirt, suddenly just appears in the yard. And as he got closer, he could see an adult female climbing onto the decking of the metal porch roof. Fire and smoke pushing heavy, fully involved, front window adjacent to the door, and heavy smoke issuing from the window that the female had climbed out of. It was at this time, viewing through the heavy smoke, that DeFran realized that the adult was holding a small infant in her arms. He quickly informed the fire dispatcher of a working fire with people trapped and started working to rescue the woman and the child from the home. Upon getting to the front yard, the mother's now standing on the metal porch roof decking. She's frantic, she's screaming, it's hot, there's fire. He's pleading with her, drop the baby to me, drop the infant, which she did, and he caught the baby in his arms and placed him on the ground. Now, as he's trying to help the mother, she's still on the roof. He's now joined by off-duty Battalion Chief Dave Burnswig, who intercepted a pulse point alert and responded from I-71 at 11th Avenue. Are you catching the theme here, all these guys coming off duty? He was on his way to work at Battalion 3. He also noticed the smoke a short distance from his location. Battalion Chief Burnswig immediately jumped in to help. He climbed up the railing of the porch to help the adult victim, but the railing gave way. That caused him to fall back down on the ground. Now, there's a growing amount of heat, there's a growing amount of flames, and the porch is in a state of disrepair. There's limited stability. So both Battalion Chief Burnswig and firefighter DeFrancisco convinced the female to lower herself into their arms. And if you're dealing with someone who is terrified and paralyzed with fear, those are some good negotiations going on that morning. Working in unison, they were able to place her safely on the ground, and the family was moved to the sidewalk to safety, where both CFD members quickly made certain there were no other victims in the house. Both victims were assessed for injuries by firefighter DeFrancisco, while Battalion Chief Burnswig conducted a 360-degree search of the residence and then initiated an exterior fire attack through the front window with a garden hose. At this point, Engine 18's on the scene. They arrived with Battalion Chief Burnswig, updating Lieutenant Robertson, and the crew finished the job with an interior fire attack through the front door. The mother and the 1-year-old were both transported to OSU Wexner Medical Center. The mother did sustain smoke inhalation and burns to her hands while attempting to extinguish and escape from the fire. The 7-year-old female, this is the little girl that Mike saw when he got on the scene, the little girl standing in the front yard, she was taken to Nationwide Children's due to back pain, and that was a result of her doing a self-rescue from jumping from that porch roof all by herself. The 1-year-old was evaluated by medics, found to be completely uninjured. Both Columbus Division of Fire members, Battalion Chief David Burnswig and firefighter Mike DeFrancisco, were not obligated to respond to this fire in no way, but they did so by instinct. They are both commended for going far above and beyond the call of duty that made a difference for this family, and tonight they are hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Service Award of Merit. Congratulations, guys. Three-unit Engine 16 Lieutenant Tyler Heisterkamp, firefighters William Cooper Ryder, Brian Murphy, and Luke Ruoff, Medic 16 firefighters Sean Kale and Joshua Storr, for outstanding fire service in the early morning hours of June 3rd, 2018, while arriving at the scene of a reported fire alarm on East Weber Road. Firefighters Cooper Ryder and Kale were notified by Engine 16 pump operator Ruoff that there was a fire, and a victim inside the structure screaming for help. They quickly entered the smoky structure with water cans. They discovered a chair on fire in the living room with the occupant screaming for help. While extinguishing the fire in low visibility, they quickly discovered the person in the chair was confined to the burning chair due to physical conditions. Firefighters Kale and Cooper Ryder quickly grabbed the person, and they carried her out of the structure and to the front yard to awaiting medics. They are hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Fire Service Award of Merit. Please stand and be recognized. Okay, I got a lot of heroes in this one. 2 unit crews of Battalion 1 and 3. This is from 711 North High Street. Rescue 3 firefighters Chad Gabriel, the late Edward Gibbons, and Jack Schumacher. Medic 25, firefighters Patrick Dunbrock and Robert 6. Rescue 16, firefighters Kurt Dewey, Todd Miller, and Michael Powell. Engine 9 Acting Lieutenant Brandon Dutton, firefighters Michael Martin and Brian Seleg. Ladder 2 Lieutenant Tyler Cole, firefighters Zachary Hensley and Scott Slatinsky. EMS 10, Acting Captain Chad Buki. EMS 13, Acting Lieutenant Zachary Shaw. Safety Officer 2, retired Captain Douglas Ross. Battalion 3 Chief Sean Moore, and Acting Deputy Chief ES2 Dave Baugh. Sometimes it takes a village. For outstanding fire service on September 22nd, 2017, when a construction worker was working on a wooden deck attached to a concrete shaft elevator that was approximately 130 feet from the ground, when he was struck by some construction debris and received injury to his head, neck, and ribs. He was conscious, but he was injured. One of his coworkers called in an injured person, and Medic 25 was dispatched. Now, before the arrival of Medic 25, Columbus Fire dispatchers received additional information. They upgraded their assignment to a rescue incident on Battalion 3 Fireground. Medic 25 quickly arrived, began gathering information from the construction crews. Now, due to a congested scene with heavy foot and auto traffic, Battalion 3 Battalion Chief Sean Moore formed an initial entry team consisting of 2 incident command rescue teams from Rescue 3. Firefighters Chad Gabriel, the late Ed Gibbons, and Jack Schumacher, and a paramedic from Medic 25. Their mission was to enter the site, ascend the 8 flights of wooded scaffold stairs, then 2 more flights via fiberglass ground ladders to the wooden decking at the top. Whew, that's courage. They were to assess the patient and devise a plan for removal. Now, several minutes later, paramedic Patrick Dunbrock reported to the command post that the victim was stable, but he would need to be removed in a Stokes basket via crane or rope lowering by Columbus Fire. However, the crane would not be available for use due to its being involved in the accident and possibly still having a load. The team devised a plan to lower the victim via ropes and began to execute the plan with assistance of a second entry team consisting of Rescue 16, firefighters Kurt Dewey, Mike Powell, and Todd Miller. They entered with a Stokes basket, edge rollers, rope, and other equipment necessary. ES2 Acting Deputy Chief Dave Baugh arrived and ascended to the rescue scene with Ladder 1 rescue tech to assist crews and to provide a safety oversight and communications with the incident command via radio and cell phone. EMS 10 Acting Captain Chad Buki and EMS 13 Acting Lieutenant Zachary Shaw established a medical unit with Medic 1 and also with Medic 25. The Public Information Office was summoned due to the high-profile nature of this incident, and yes, we were there. ES1 Assistant Chief Jim Cannell arrived to, I know that's Cannell, sorry. Chief Jim Cannell arrived to assist, and CPD assisted with traffic and crowd control. Now, while the plans were being executed to lower the patient by rope with tandem multi-purpose devices, the crane operator changed his mind, and at that point he did agree to allow the crane to be used to assist in lowering the patient. The patient was given an IV and C-spine precautions and packaged in the Stokes basket. The basket was attached to the crane via the bridle. The bridle was attached to 2 separate hooks on the crane's 4-hook system. A tagline was attached to the basket for control. And Rescue 16 firefighter Mike Powell was also attached to the crane via 2 separate attachment points and descended the 10 stories to the ground alongside the patient. You guys trained for this, but this was the real deal. And it went off without a hitch, I'm happy to say. Medic 25 firefighters Patrick Dunbrack and Robert Six transported that patient to OSU Hospital. And tonight, not only for their brave acts, but also for amazing teamwork, they have all been awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Fire Service Award of Merit. Please, all of you, and it's a lot of you, stand to be recognized. Thank you. Kennel may never speak to me again. Okay, 2 unit crews of Battalion 2, 3, and 7, 182 East North Broadway, Engine 13, Lieutenant Richard Thompson, Jr., firefighters David Detro, Kyle Hill, Lawrence Schrader, and Richard Young, Engine 19, Captain Thomas Cerny, firefighters James Amick, Christopher Butts, and retired firefighter Daniel DeWitt, Rescue 16 firefighters Michael Powell, Chris Morrison, and Anthony Turnerman, Engine 18, Lieutenant Brian Hinton, Mitchell Madiker, Elvin Pinkney, and Zachary Shaw. Ladder 13, Lieutenant Luke Went, Sean Sanders, David Treffert, and John Vacharisi. Medic 13 firefighters Jason Parsley and Scott Widener. Engine 7, Lieutenant Clay Cruz, firefighters Daniel DeCesare, I know I didn't say it right, I'm sorry, Daniel, Jack Lyon, Medic 7 Michael Neely, Jacob Farrell, and Samuel Freddick. Medic 16 firefighters Kyle Hunt and Jeffrey Mills. Ladder 24 Lieutenant Ryan Brzezinski, Scott Moore, Eric Reed, and Michael Thomas. Engine 16 Captain Donald Salisbury, Seth Kirtland, Jay Love, and Jordan Poland. EMS 13, Lieutenant Jeffrey Shaw, and Upper Arlington Fire Department, Ladder 72, Lieutenant Donald Ingersoll, firefighters Daniel Brenner, Barry Chandler, and Matthew Jividan. For outstanding fire service on December 16, 2017, at approximately 0140 hours, when Battalion 3 companies responded to 182 East North Broadway. This was a working fire in a large single-family home. Upon arrival, they had heavy fire, mostly on the exterior of the Charlie Bravo corner that was extending to the interior. Engine 13 was there first. It was due to being out of the area. They had been redirected from another incident. Upon arrival, a resident who had already escaped the fire met crews and stated that there were still 2 family members trapped inside. Again, it was go time. Engine 13, led by Lieutenant Rich Thompson, made an excellent call to advance the initial attack line to the Charlie side, while Engine 19 and Rescue 16 entered the Alpha side to begin the search. Now, Engine 13 quickly knocked down the bulk of the fire. It was mostly on the outside. However, it did extend to the interior on the first floor, and it was causing heat and smoke conditions on the interior. After the exterior knockdown, Engine 13 advanced to the interior from the Charlie side and completed the extinguishment. As Engine 19 and Rescue 16 were entering the Alpha side for search and rescue, they did witness an occupant who had escaped from the second floor but had collapsed at the bottom of the interior stairs. Engine 19 removed the victim, who appeared to have facial burns and was not breathing. Medic 16 transported this patient in critical condition to OSU Hospital. Rescue 16 made their way to the second floor and had heavy smoke with 0 visibility. While beginning their search, they did hear a male in distress behind a closed bedroom door. They entered to find a semi-conscious male collapsed on the floor. Now, Rescue 16 chose to remove the male via the stairs. It was the most direct and timely method. Upon their exit, Medic 13 was there, ready and waiting at the front door with their cot. Medic 13 transported this male also to OSU Hospital. The occupant, who had escaped prior to our arrival, was transported by Medic 7 to OSU Hospital in stable condition. Now, while the companies were continuing to extinguish the fire and rescue the victim on the second floor, Ladder 13 was searching remote areas on the second floor. They were searching from ground ladders on the Alpha side, and Battalion 3 Chief Witowski, who's on overtime, arrived and assumed command, followed by Ladder 24 Engine 16, Engine 7, Engine 18, EMS 13, Battalion 7, and Upper Arlington Fire Department Ladder 72. This was a big scene. These later arriving companies were assigned to RIC overhaul and assisting medics during transport to OSU Hospital. Quick response, sound tactics, and great coordination by first arriving companies was a direct result of lives saved at this incident this day. We were made aware that all occupants rescued from the incident are expected to survive. So please, all of you, stand and be recognized, along with Upper Arlington Fire Department Ladder 72 and firefighter Daniel Brenner. Please come to the stage to receive the Columbus Division of Fire Public Safety Award of Excellence and Station Plaque. But all of you stand to be recognized and for a round of applause. Thank you. Good job. Okay. 1 unit crews of Battalion 1, 3, and 6. This was an incident that happened at 6011 Forest View Drive. Engine 5 Lieutenant Shane Lott, firefighters Shane Heil, Sean Miller, and Darren McNabb, Ladder 5. Lieutenant Stephen Kearns, firefighters Nathan Bigham, Joseph Cleary, Lester Lash, and Paul Wisman. Medic 5 firefighters Chad Conaway and Daniel Kaufman, Rescue 3. Lieutenant Timothy Wickoff and firefighters Michael Powell, Kelly Stortz, Safety Officer 2 Jeffrey Doom, Rescue 16 firefighters Kevin Barth, Mark Seamer, and Sean Trees, EMS 10 Captain Aaron Renner, EMS 16 Lieutenant Sean McConnell, Battalion 6 Captain Brian Barnhart, ES 2 Deputy Chief Jack Reel, Mifflin Township Fire Rescue 134 firefighters Sean Barnett, Kenneth Chip Kinder, and Nick Searle. This is for outstanding fire service during the afternoon of August 29, 2018, when crews were dispatched to Forest View Drive on a possible electrocution. Medic 5 was on the scene first with an initial rundown of one victim in a tree, unconscious and not breathing, and a second conscious victim approximately 30 feet up a tree. With other companies still en route, Ladder 5 requested the assignment be upgraded to a rescue incident. Engine and Ladder 5 arrived on the scene. They were quickly briefed by Medic 5, and then Lieutenant Kearns assumed command. He requested the electric company on an emergency and reevaluated the scene. Secondary size-up was presented with the tree company on the scene trimming a tree in a backyard that had a 6-foot privacy fence with limited access and an in-ground pool within 10 feet of the tree. This was limiting rescue operations. The arborist had an extension ladder extended approximately 30 feet up in the tree with 2 safety ropes tied off to the unconscious victim who was suspended face down. The second victim was standing on the ladder, stating he was getting shocked while pushing the 76 20-volt primary wires away from the unconscious person with the limb. Medic 5 tried to talk to the conscious victim. They tried to talk him down from the ladder. They knew the power was still energized. The conscious person did come down, only to reposition the ladder and climb back up the ladder again in an effort to rescue the unconscious victim. Command requested CPD on an emergency in efforts to prevent any additional injuries to the tree trimming crew that was at this point disregarding the fire crew's request to stay back. The conscious person then stated he wasn't coming down without his son. He secured one of the ropes over a branch above the unconscious person, intentions of lowering him down. I think it goes without saying this was a difficult scene to be on. Engine 5 crew wrapped the free end of the rope around a tree, and they anchored that rope in an effort to prevent the unconscious person from being dropped. Lieutenants Kearns, Lott, and McConnell did a very quick risk assessment. They discussed their options that were available to try to get this person down. Ladder 5 crew arrived with the TAC stick and 2 pairs of linesman gloves that were used by Engine 5 crew members anchoring the rope that was tethered to the unconscious person. While responding, Rescue 134 witnessed New River Electric working at the intersection of Broad and McNaughton. Rescue 134 arrived and was made aware of the situation. They retrieved their high-angle rope rescue equipment and their safety harnesses. While Rescue 134 began setting up equipment to ascend the tree, Ladder 5 crews simultaneously began to reposition the truck in the front driveway to attempt reaching over the house and the pool. They fell about 20 feet short. Rescue 134 requested New River Electric Company, who was working at Broad and McNaughton, through the special duty police officer working traffic with them, in an attempt to shut down the power. Mind you, all these firefighters are responding knowing the power is still fully energized. The conscious person was talked down and taken away from the incident by EMS 10 Captain Aaron Renner and EMS 16 Lieutenant Sean McConnell and checked for injuries. ES2 Deputy Chief Jack Reel arrived. He was briefed. He assumed command and initiated recovery operations. At this point, crews had been on the scene for approximately 40 minutes, with the victim showing no signs of life. New River Electric shut down power but could not ensure it was safe. 3 minutes later, AEP arrived and grounded all lines and ensured the site was in fact safe. After it was reconfirmed that the power was off, Rescue 3 and Rescue 134 crews, with the assistance of AEP and New River, ascended to the tree to confirm that the unconscious person was not viable. They quickly determined the victim sustained injuries that were incompatible with life, and a Code 1 was called. Now, both Rescue 3 and 131 worked in unison to set up a high anchor point to lower the victim to the ground. Several plans were developed that included a lead climber, setting up a high point anchor, using the AEP bucket to assist with removal, and using Ladder 5 through the now de-energized lines at a high point anchor. Rescue Incident Commander Mike Powell from Rescue 3 worked in the AEP bucket truck to clear branches and help with setting the anchor. Rescue Tech Kinder from Rescue 134 and Rescue 3 Lieutenant Tim Wickoff ascended the ladder to lead climb the trees to set an anchor and a rigging to lower the victim from the branch where he had been laying. When the victim was lowered to the ground, a recovery complete was called. EMS 16 Lieutenant Sean McConnell contacted the NetCare Community Crisis Response Team to come to the scene to speak with the individual's tree trimming crew as they were related to the victim. All efforts were made to accommodate the family of the deceased, and while CPD completed their side of the incident, the Franklin County Coroner's Office arrived and secured the body. All of the tree company's equipment was gathered up in the backyard and returned to them by CFD crews. The level of teamwork, professionalism, and above all, compassion displayed by all personnel at this scene was outstanding, as it was a very low frequency, very high-risk event. So please, all of you, stand and be recognized. And also, will Mifflin Township Rescue 134 firefighters Sean Barnett, Kenneth Chip Kinder, and Nick Searle please come up to the stage to receive your certificate and your station plaque. Thanks, guys. As we get a few photographs here, I realize they don't always come home and tell you what happened that day. And that event was a difficult situation for anyone to find themselves in, and the professionalism and the teamwork that happened that day was astounding. So I really would like you to give all of these men a round of applause again. Our next award of the evening is the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Now, this is awarded to individual members of the division for their commendable performance, acts, or duties, or for their efforts expended in materially contributing to the success of fire safety, fire prevention, or community relations programs. Now, tonight, we have 11 recipients, and when you hear your name, we're going to make you come up here. So make your way to the stage when I say your name, okay? We're going to begin with Lieutenant Stephen W. Lamb. While returning from a run on November 16, 2017, EMS Lieutenant Steve Lamb noticed a 14-year-old girl, a child, standing on a small ledge on the Cleveland Avenue Bridge over I-670 on the other side of the safety fence. Needless to say, she was in grave danger. As a slip of her hands, she would land in the middle of I-670 where traffic was flowing at a very high speed. He also noticed a civilian who was talking to her. He was trying to convince her to slowly walk towards the closest route to safety. Lieutenant Lamb immediately called for a jumper assignment, and as Battalion 7 Chief Rick Artrip and Medic 7 arrived, they witnessed this girl around 8 feet from safety. She was slowly using the fence to stable herself. She was walking along that narrow ledge. He began to establish a relationship with the girl. He was using a very calm demeanor, reassuring her, trying not to overreact to the situation, contributing factors that all resulted in the safe mitigation of this incident. Once she was down and safe, she was transported to Nationwide Children's Hospital by Medic 7. So Lieutenant Stephen W. Lamb is commended for his actions. Today he is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Honor Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations. Lieutenant Michael P. Lesko. On the afternoon of August 23, 2018, companies were dispatched to E. Bright Road and Blair Avenue. It was a report of a vehicle accident with a possible entrapment. Now, Battalion 181 arrived on scene and advised incoming companies that he had an SUV on its top in a creek. Rescue 4 arrived to find a late model Jeep Liberty overturned in approximately 8 to 10 inches of water with off-duty Lieutenant, there we go again, Michael Lesko, who happened on the scene attending to a 60-year-old female driver of the vehicle. Lieutenant Lesko advised he was on the way to church with his family when he saw the vehicle and he found the driver unconscious. She still had her seatbelt on. Her head was resting awkwardly against the roof of the vehicle. He stated he had released the belt and repositioned her, and since doing so, she was now breathing. Rescue 4 removed the foliage that was impeding access to the driver's side and began removing the door. The patient was extricated and Station 181 and 32 assisted with packaging and moving her up the bank. She was transported while Station 4 was notified of vehicle fluids in the creek with Hazmat 4 placing several pads and a boom to limit any environmental damage. For his selfless actions that day on his way to church, Lieutenant Michael P. Lesko is commended for his actions and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Distinguished Service Award. Unfortunately, he could not be here tonight because in another act of heroism, he is serving on a mission out of country. So let's give him a warm round of applause. Firefighter Tony A. Bellisari. On August 12, 2018, Bellisari was cleaning his pool when he saw an ATV whiz by his property. Now, knowing that ATV would have to come back the same way due to living at the end of the road, he then heard the sounds of a vehicle crash, and he saw that ATV flip through the air and the victims ejected, hitting a large section of trees beyond his property. He ran into the house to tell his wife, Casey, call 911, and then he ran out in his swimming trunks, no shoes, right into that thick brush looking for those victims. The brush was so thick he had to go by sound. Now, at first he couldn't find anyone. And then he heard the sounds of snoring noises the driver was making, which he assessed were respirations. Giving sternal rubs to get him to respond, Tony stabilized the victim the best he could and went to try to find the other victim. Now, by this time, Casey was calling 911, but she had no idea what happened, and she didn't even know what to tell the dispatcher. So, yelling to Casey to advise her to look for a second person, he told her to do a Z search pattern. Upon arrival of township medics, Tony took full command of the situation so the patient could receive the right care and enter the medic. By this time, Casey called Tony on his cell to relay she had finally found the person, and he didn't look good. Tony assessed the passenger, who was decorticate. I practiced this with Steve Martin. Decorticate. Got it. Posturing. He also had rapid respirations and a fast thread pulse. He was also unresponsive, and he was unconscious. Now, Scioto and Harrison Township Fire Departments each took one patient. One was taken to Grant, the other was life flighted to Grant ER. Unfortunately, the young man passed away. However, due to Tony and Casey's efforts, the majority of his organs were harvested, and his family was also able to donate many skin grafts. For his selfless actions that day, firefighter Tony A. Bellisari is to be commended and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Distinguished Service Award, and his wife Casey Bellisari is awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Citizens Distinguished Service Award. They're not here. She's not here. Is she here tonight? Oh, Casey. Oh, Casey. Come on up here. I think we can all speak from experience that sometimes the most important thing to our victims and our victims' families is just knowing that there are people who care, people who are there, people who are trying, people who are holding your hand sometimes is a lot. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Firefighter Michael P. Rosenberg. Firefighter Rosenberg has been a 4-year resident of Station 16 on 3 units. Now, during this time, he's held many roles in the station: cook, engine driver, transport basic, and fire alarm office trained. He comes to work every shift without complaints as to which role the division needs him to fulfill, as he puts others before himself. A prime example of this is his wanting to give back to the community that he serves. After taking many fire and EMS runs in the Linden area, especially in the winter months of 2017, he noticed a need for children's coats for many of the area's residents. He took up a collection from the members at Station 16, and he donated his own time and money to purchase about 40 coats of all sizes, and he just passed them out to the children who were coatless during EMS runs. He saw a kid, they needed a coat, he gave them a coat. He didn't stop there, though. He contacted several local elementary schools to see, do you have any children who could use a warm coat? And Oakland Park Elementary responded. He put together a collection of the remaining coats to donate to them. Very soon after, he received a call from the principal from Como Elementary. They also needed coats. The need was so great, their staff couldn't provide enough help for everyone. Well, Mike took this on as a challenge. He set to work on social media to help collect enough resources to help. Within 2 days, Mike was able to purchase almost $800 for coats and clothing. He and his family sorted, bagged, and tagged the items and had them ready to deliver the next duty day. Station 16 had the privilege of helping firefighter Mike Rosenberg deliver the items to the Como Elementary just before the Christmas break. He went out of his way to help improve the lives of the children in the area, and in doing so, he helped distinguish the men and women of the Columbus Division of Fire as charitable contributors of the City of Columbus, never asking for a thank you, never asking for a pat on the back or recognition for his actions. But he got it. So firefighter Michael P. Rosenberg's selfless actions is highly commended, and he is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Good job. Now, if we're collecting coats this year, I know a girl on TV who can help you, right? Firefighters Jason G. Bliss and James M. Dennett. Each month, hazardous materials personnel perform system checks and calibrations, and they document the results for 55 monitors. Now, these monitors perform a multitude of functions ranging from radiation, unknown liquids and powders, chemical warfare agents, all kinds of hazmat situations. Now, wanting to simplify the monthly calibrations and the filing process to aid the hazardous materials team, firefighters Bliss and Dennett just took it upon themselves to completely recreate the hazmat monthly monitor tracking system by creating an organized file for each monitor. All 270 hazmat technicians who work for the division are now able to accurately perform and document the monthly calibration for each of the 55 monitors carried by the division's hazmat team. The work, the time, and the effort that the two put into the project reflect their pride and dedication to improving the division. They created an organized folder and a filing system allowing all of the hazmat technicians to properly perform monthly calibrations and an accurate documentation. Spending more than 6 months on this project, and when not engaged in calls for service, training, or other division activities, this exceptional work was recognized by their chain of command and is highly commendable. Firefighters Jason G. Bliss and James M. Dennett hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations. Firefighter Salvatore Sam Trepasso. This past winter, recruit training began experiencing problems with the recruits' mask-mounted regulators. They were freezing during training evolutions. That's bad. Firefighter Trapasso developed a hypothesis that the freezing issues might be related to the amount of use the recruit training SCBAs are subjected to during an average training cycle. He then, on his own initiative, developed a logbook for the recruits to track their SCBA, their use of it, any issues they had, any problems with their air packs. Firefighter Trapasso then began to track and collect the data on the recruits' SCBA use. Now, the findings from this completely self-initiated study have been interesting. The amount of SCBA cylinders used by the recruits over the course of a year is larger than many realized. This study has caused recruit training and the Support Services Bureau to begin investigating whether a 5-year hydrostatic testing period is reasonable or whether that time should be shortened due to the amount of use. This finding alone is significant. Firefighter Trapasso, by self-initiating his study, may have saved recruit training from an accident, and we don't want that. The study may indicate a safety issue. It may ultimately prevent an injury, or worse, for a recruit or staff member in recruit training. By making himself aware of an issue with the SCBAs and then formulating his own study, Firefighter Trapasso has demonstrated commitment to his profession, concern for the recruits, that he's responsible for training, and the dedication to fulfilling the mission of the Columbus Division of Fire. For this, he is to be commended, and firefighter Salvatore Sam Trapasso is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations. Now, if you need new SCBAs, City Council's here. Okay, Captain Aaron D. Schonkweiler, firefighters Christopher A. Burnett, Tyler F. Salisbury, and Sarah E. Wagner. These individuals serve on the division's honor guard. They've consistently shown a positive attitude. They're always prepared and eager to accept assignments, and they have performed in a manner that brings honor and respect to the division and to the honor guard. So Captain Aaron D. Schonkweiler, firefighters Christopher A. Burnett, Tyler F. Salisbury, and Sarah Wagner, tonight you are hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations. There's Sarah. Congratulations. Good job. Our next presentation is the Fire Chiefs Award. This is to allow formal recognition of deserving fire service individuals, groups, or companies from the fire chiefs level. This year, for the second time, the division is publicly recognizing a civilian division employee who has shown exemplary individual achievement, outstanding work ethic, and/or a commendable act, which are deemed to be far above and beyond those normally accepted or required. So Ronald E. Taylor, Inventory Control Manager from the Support Services Bureau. Ron's unwavering support and professionalism is indisputable. In his 22-year career with the Division of Fire, Ron is a hands-on manager and has continuously provided mission essential supplies and protective personnel equipment to the members in a fast and efficient manner. Whether he's in the house, at home, or even out of state, he's always available. He responds quickly by email and/or text to ensure that division personnel needs are met in a timely fashion. Ron has been essential in the division's pursuit of the highest quality personal protective equipment for the members, with the introduction of leather fire boots and the distribution of 2 sets of bunker gear per member. That's huge. He has also spent countless times delivering items and supplies to the membership on explosions, most notably the Georgia Pacific explosion, where he delivered critical supplies to the hot zone. On bomb runs, blizzards, storms, other extreme weather condition situations, Ron's level of commitment goes above and beyond, and for this, he is to be commended. Tonight, Ronald E. Taylor is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Fire Chiefs Award as the Civilian of the Year. Now, unfortunately, of all the times he's always there, Ron wasn't able to be here tonight, but I would really like for all of us to give him a big warm round of applause. He may or may not have promised me my own gear, Chief. Okay, the second highest award tonight is the Bronze Maltese. It is awarded to 7 active members of the Division of Fire who, acting in the highest tradition of the fire service and bringing distinction upon themselves and to the division by exhibiting extraordinary bravery or courage in the performance or acts or duties, the level of which exceeds that which is normally required or expected of each member. Acting Officer Matt S. Ayers, Firefighter Matthew A. Carlisle, Mark D. Hamill, and Jeffrey A. Short. On Thursday, December 7th, 2017, it's approximately 11:20 hours, Engine 10 was canceled en route to a report of a fire on North Hague Avenue. Pulling into a convenience store parking lot to turn around and just head back east to the fire station, Engine 10 crew witnessed an assault in progress. One male civilian was reaching into the window of a pickup truck, strangling the driver, and the driver, who was the victim of the assault robbery, was trying to break contact but couldn't get away. Engine 10 stopped. They immediately called for police assistance, but they didn't wait for the cops to show up. Crew members jumped out of the engine without regard for their own personal safety, and they got into the middle of the altercation between the two males, successfully freeing the victim from the grasp of the other. A scuffle ensued now with the crew of Engine 10 actively engaged with the 2 civilians. Of those, the victim was attempting to brandish a knife while being helped by Firefighter Short. The knife came out. It was quickly retrieved by Acting Officer Matt Ayers before it could be deployed from the handle. With quick and decisive action, firefighters Matthew Carlisle and Mark Hamill were able to get the other subject under control quickly. In the end, there were no injuries sustained by fire personnel, and the driver of the pickup truck sustained minor cuts to his ears and face. Putting themselves into a potentially life-threatening situation solely to help a person being victimized in an assault without fear or hesitation and at great risk for their own personal safety is highly commendable. And Acting Officer Matt S. Ayers, firefighters Matthew A. Carlisle, Mark D. Hamill, and Jeffrey A. Short are hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Bronze Maltese Award. Congratulations. Concluding with our next award given is the highest honor for this evening. It's the Silver Maltese. It's awarded to active members of the Division of Fire who distinguished themselves by performing acts of gallantry in the face of great personal danger or hazard to life, with knowledge of the risks involved and above and beyond the call of duty. Lieutenant George W. Davis and Lieutenant Michael P. Lesko. It was a cold, wintry evening, February 24th, 2018, when firefighter Mike Lesko, firefighter then, was working overtime on Medic 5, and the call came there was a vehicle in the water. You don't want that in February. Upon arrival with Battalion 6, Chief John Vingle, EMS 16, and Lieutenant George Davis was first to enter the dark, frigid waters of a retaining pond. This was happening at 7165 Cedar Bridge Lane. It was a compact car. It was completely submerged and lying on the driver's side. Now, it was unknown if anyone was in the vehicle, but the headlights were on, so that told them there was a high probability that there was a victim. Lieutenant Lesko and firefighter Chad Conaway, who were working on Engine 5, entered the water with a CPD officer as Lieutenant Davis submerged into the driver's compartment to blindly search for victims in the dark, in the icy water. None were found. Lieutenant Lesko resubmerged, entering the backseat area, and that's where he felt a leg. Resurfacing to catch his breath, he and Lieutenant Davis then resubmerged again, entering the back seat, and they were both able to extricate a male victim who was in cardiac arrest. Firefighter Conaway also assisted in bringing the victim out of the vehicle to shore, where resuscitation began, and then transported by Medic 5 including a very wet and a very cold, and I'm guessing a very tired Lieutenant Lesko. The patient was in critical condition, but he was fighting for recovery. Firefighter Chad R. Conaway showed bravery. Without hesitation, he went into that dark frigid water to assist the rescue efforts, and he is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Bronze Maltese Award, with Lieutenants George W. Davis and Michael P. Lesko tonight receiving the highest award of the evening, the Columbus Division of Fire Silver Maltese. Now, unfortunately, all three are unable to be here tonight, but we are going to ask the following members to stand at their seat as they are awarded the EMS Award of Merit. So, Engine 5 Lieutenant Dallas Barnard, firefighters Shane Heil and Sean Miller, Ladder 5 Lieutenant Stephen Kearns, firefighters Lester Lash, Philip Page, and Paul Wisman, EMS 10 Captain David Traynor, Medic 5 firefighter Philip Smith, Safety Officer 2 Battalion Chief Donald Weldon, and Rescue 4 firefighters Todd Beery, Michael Eberts, Curtis Kaiser, and Thomas Bassara. Can we give these guys a round of applause? So this is going to conclude the awards presentation for tonight. I think as we listen to these stories and the detail of these stories, we are all reminded what dangerous jobs you have, but what amazingly fulfilling jobs you have. And like I said, I am humbled and grateful that I was asked to be here tonight to present these awards. They're so well deserved, not only by the recipients, but for all the members of the Columbus Division of Fire who go out there every day and answer every call without hesitation, without asking questions. So I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for your service, and thank you for allowing me to be part of this tonight. Chief.
Thank you very much, Maureen. Fine job.
I'm
Very
just gonna
fine.
be over your shoulder. Does this make you uncomfortable? No.
Not at all.
You take it from here, Chief.
Okay, I'd like to thank Chief Kevin O'Connor, Director Kathy Collins, City Council members, everybody who came out tonight and made this possible. Elvin Pinkney for that's the first time for the Fallen Firefighters Comrades Table. Our Honor Guard, phenomenal job. Again, our best band in the land, our Columbus Fire and Police Pipes and Drums. And I'd like to also thank our members of the awards committee. Now, I chair the awards committee and probably have a very difficult job because I have to referee the debates that go on. And we vote on every one of these. We investigate every one of these recommendations, and then we have to vote. And one of the most difficult things is trying to convince firefighters. Everybody says well, that's just our job. Anybody would do that. But I do want to say thank you to all those members, and thank you to everybody who received an award. You were in the right place at the right time, and you represent all of us, and you've made us all proud. And yes, it is part of your job, and yes, every Columbus firefighter would do that, and that's why we're the best. So thank you very much, and you are heroes in our eyes, and I just want to congratulate you for that. If we get everybody a round of applause. Now also, none of these spectacular performances wouldn't be possible without the great training that we get here in the Columbus Division of Fire. And I would like to recognize, you don't have to stand, but you know who you are. It's the great training we receive and the mentorship from some of our senior members, Dr. Kessick, who makes sure that we have the best EMS training possible. It all has to work at the same time. But I just like to give a round of applause of all of our trainers and our instructors that make this possible. Without you, we wouldn't be here tonight. Thank you. If Teresa Langer, she's the lady that makes all this happen and keeps me in line and keeps the rest of us in line. If you would stand up, you do a fabulous job, and we're very, very appreciative of that. Thanks again for all your support. I'd like to call Father Conley up to the podium again for the benediction and ask that everyone stand and bow their heads, please.
Heavenly Father, we have been awed by tonight's experience of becoming aware of how your power is made manifest through the actions of your people. As we go forth, may we be inspired by the example of the women and men who have been honored this evening. We continue to pray for the members of the Columbus Division of Fire, all first responders, and those who support them, their families and their friends, and the larger community. Keep them and all of us, no matter what our vocation and profession might be, no matter what rank we may have, safe from harm. Help us to remember that it is through self-giving that we become and continue to be your servants and the servants of your people, for this is how we are certainly blessed. We ask these things through the intercession of St. Florian, patron of firefighters, as well as your most holy name, as you live and reign forever and ever, and may God bless the Columbus community and the United States of America.
Thank you, sir. And this concludes our program. Thank you very much, and have a safe trip home.